It was supposed to be the West Coast's answer to Woodstock, a free concert symbolizing peace, love, and music. Instead, it became a cautionary tale, one that spiraled into chaos, violence, and even death. If you like topical stories about the world of rock, folk, and pop music, hit that subscribe button.
And we'll figure out what we need to know.
In December of 1969, just 4 months after Woodstock, the Rolling Stones tried to recreate that moment of peace and unity in California. It was called the Altamont Speedway Free Festival, with nearly 300,000 people in attendance and a lineup of iconic bands, including Santana, Jefferson Airplane, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and the Stones themselves. Many believed it would be Woodstock West. But by the end of the day, one person would be dead, dozens injured, and the dream of the 1960s would be shattered. The chaos began well before the first chord was strummed. Originally planned for Golden Gate Park, the concert was forced to move at the last minute to the Altamont Speedway. Just 36 hours before the show, organizers scrambled to relocate, leaving no time to properly prepare. There were no medical tents, no crowd barriers, and barely any toilets. Worse, the stage was just 3 feet high, placing performers directly in harm's way. The decision to involve the Hells Angels as stage security would become one of the most infamous in rock history. Some accounts say they were paid $500 worth of beer to guard the stage and generators. Others say there were no former deals at all. The Angels, armed with pool cues and chains, were told to keep people off the stage, but not much else. By mid-afternoon, they had been drinking heavily, sitting directly in front of the stage. With no training, no coordination, and no clear boundaries, their presence shifted from intimidating to dangerous. Jefferson Airplane, veterans of the San Francisco scene, were among the first to recognize that something felt off. Guitarist Paul Kantner called the new location desperate and uncontrolled. Grace Slick recalled the day's strange tension, saying it wasn't bad, just peculiar, abrasive. During their set, lead singer Marty Balin leapt into the crowd to break up a fight, only to be punched unconscious by a Hells Angel.
And I'd like to mention that the Hells Angels just smashed Marty Balin in the face and knocked him out for a bit. I'd like to thank you for that.
The violence played out on stage with guitarist Kantner arguing live with the Angels over a mic. This wasn't a festival anymore. It was a powder keg. From the crowd's perspective, things were deteriorating fast. Many fans described a growing sense of unease. One woman, calling into a local radio station the next day, said she witnessed 5 fistfights, every one involving the Angels. Others described people being trampled, dragged by the hair, or ignored while overdosing. "We were all in terror of them," one caller said. Another reported that bystanders were afraid to help those in trouble, fearful that they'd be attacked themselves. The atmosphere had gone from festival to battleground. The musicians themselves clearly weren't safe. The Grateful Dead, who had helped organize the show, refused to go on at all after hearing what had happened to Marty Balin. They packed up and left. And still, the Rolling Stones took the stage. The final tragedy unfolded during the song Under My Thumb. Meredith Hunter, just 18 years old and dressed in a lime green suit, tried to get closer to the stage. After being shoved back by the Angels, he returned, this time visibly armed with a .22 caliber revolver. In a moment captured in the documentary Gimme Shelter, Hells Angel Alan Passero lunged at him, stabbing him repeatedly. The footage is brief but horrifying. Hunter fell to the ground and was stomped. He died where he lay. The Rolling Stones finished their set unaware at first that someone had died, but the energy had changed, the crowd was rattled, the myth of peace, love, and music had collapsed into a real-world tragedy. 3 others also died that day, 2 in a hit and run, 1 by drowning in a nearby canal. Altamont was supposed to be the grand finale of the 1960s, a free concert, an act of goodwill, a gathering of the tribes. Instead, it exposed the naivete of the counterculture and the limits of peace and love in the face of real-world violence. While Woodstock was a miracle of cooperation, Altamont was a warning. A moment when music, idealism, and chaos collided, and a generation woke up to the hard truth that not every dream survives the daylight. Thank you for watching, and if you like topical stories about the world of rock, folk, and pop music, hit that subscribe button.
The things you think you'd like to know are the same old things I need to know. You and I are good as gold, and we'll figure out what we need to know.